Hi, my name is Nya Holmes and I am a senior in the NYU Jazz Studies program, and today we will be talking about composing a bass line. So one thing that my teachers always emphasize is that a bass line should really be like its own melody. So yes, we're outlining the changes, but we're also writing a counter melody. And to get that started, we need to know which notes to play where. A good starting place is to play the root and the fifth on beats 1 and 3. The root and the fifth are the most stable notes in a chord, and we as bass players usually play these notes so other ensemble members like a pianist or a guitarist don't have to. It gives them room to free up their inversions and stuff like that. But we also do it because so the chord can start, from the lowest register in the group, and you can really feel it. So getting started, I usually play the root on 1, but sometimes you can play the fifth on beat 1, which is something that Paul Chambers does all the time. And the thing about, playing on beats 1 and 3 is usually in jazz, we think to emphasize beats 2 and beats 4. And while this is true, in our playing, we play beat 2 and 4 a little differently to give it that jazz swing pep almost. We're really emphasizing the chord on beat 1 and beat 3, and also just really laying it down. So getting started, a good exercise to play through is to play through a progression just hitting the root and the fifth on beat 1 and beat 3, like you're playing in a 2 feel. Today we're going to look at a B-flat blues, and so that would sound something like... something like that. So on beats 2 and 4, we have a lot more freedom and a lot more choices. On beat 2, you can either play a weaker chord tone like the 3rd or the 7th, or you can play a passing tone to the note you're playing on beat 3, in our case the 5th. So if I wanted to hit a passing note to the 5th in that B-flat chord, it would sound something like that. Beat 4, as I, hinted at just then, is where we can really free ourselves from the scale a bit. Beat 4 is usually a chromatic passing tone to the next chord. And this is where you get that real jazzy walking bass sound. One thing that helped me when I was just getting started is to make some kind of formula. So today let's do 1, 3, 5, and then a half step above the next chord, the next root of the next chord. And so that in a B-flat blues would sound like this. Obviously, that's not the most creative exercise, but it's really, just to get started. So this is all really basic stuff. Eventually, as you become more comfortable with the chords, you can play different chord tones in your lines. You can work in the 5th on the downbeat, work in chord substitutions, and just get really creative. One of my favorite things about playing the bass is that you're always improvising, more than anyone else in the group. And at the same time, you're acting as the anchor to the entire band. So yeah, that's about it. Again, I'm Nya Holmes. Thank you so much for tuning in.